welcome to Kathleen from Approachable Parenting. I'm here live today on our Approachable Parenting Facebook page. Approachable Parenting, 5 Pillars of Parenting, you'll find us there rather than my own personal one. I hope you're getting this message. I decided to come out in the open air, mashallah, to enjoy the birds, to enjoy the bees flying around, all the different sounds. So you're going to have all these different sounds, these natural sounds, mashallah, with us today. It's just wonderful, alhamdulillah, to see the sun and to see all the nature around us, mashallah. Really get us to think. Assalamu alaikum, bird. I'm in competition today with this bird here. It's really wonderful for us to remember nature when we're at home isolated, to open our windows if we don't have a garden, just to let the air come into our houses and the air change. And if we do have a small space, to try and get out there and to try and get as much fresh air and as much involved with nature as possible. If we do have a little bit of a garden, to enjoy that little bit, to enjoy it, to enjoy what's going on, to enjoy to see all the buds that are coming out on the trees, mashallah. Since we started being isolated, or in Ireland they're called it cocooning, which maybe I might start calling it cocooning, because that gives me the impression that when we come out of this, inshallah, that we'll all be beautiful, even more beautiful and more like the butterflies that cocoon, and they come out then and they're spread their wings and they're so different. So it would be lovely to use that terminology, cocooning, that we'll all come out of this better individuals, more in connecting with ourselves, more in connection with Allah, and more in connection with the environment and the world we live in, and really appreciating those small little things, those leaves, as I mentioned. And I'm looking here at a tree that had nothing when we came into isolation a couple of weeks ago, and now the leaves are coming out, subhanallah. And the flowers behind me, I remember coming out in the garden one of the days and saying I didn't have these flowers, we didn't have any flowers except one that started blossoming. Now we have these beautiful, beautiful ones, mashallah, that I decided to share with you today, mashallah. So I'll give you some beauty into your lives as well, because really they are so beautiful, mashallah, mashallah. When you look at them and the beautiful, how this happens, mashallah, it's just wonderful to be part of nature and to be there, inshallah, with nature and appreciate it. Now today I was wondering what topic I would cover today for you, and there was people that were asking, can we do a little bit about communication? Because at the moment we're at home and we think we should be communicating better because we're in that closed space, but actually communication between spouses, between relatives, between children, it's getting a little bit difficult for us, and we're forgetting some of the examples we've learned on the parenting courses, or the examples from our faith of Prophet Muhammad and how he communicated. And I think to resolve some of the issues that may happen, we actually do need to look at our communication styles. How are we getting that message across? And I'm looking at myself as well as everybody else here, really. How can I get do better with my communication? How can I get that message across better to you, inshallah, in communication? I've just remembered that I forgot to set my alarm, and this is supposed to be under 15 minutes, so I'm not too sure how long I've got left. So if anybody's watching and knows the time, please let me know, because I have to keep it under 15 minutes to post it up. So I better go a little bit quicker. So communication, what we're trying to do, we're trying to remember the words that we say, which is only a small part of that communication. The tone of our voice is so important, which is a bigger part. And then so I've 4 minutes left, or I've 4 minutes I've been on the show. I've 12 minutes left. Thank you very much. Thank you everybody for keeping me up to date. So 12 minutes left. Let me see if I can try and put that onto my clock here, so that I won't go over time. Indeed, I'll put 10 minutes. Okay, so I'll get an alarm, so at least keep me to track. So communication, sorry about that, guys. Communication, so we communicate in 3 different ways. By the words I was saying, which is a small amount, and I'm going to get you to think of what percentage it is in a few minutes, by the tone of our voice, which is a bit bigger, and then by our body language. So, is the tone of the voice or the body language the one that's most important, do you think? You can type in your answers, I'll pick them up here. So we communicate, and this is always a shock to people, by the words we use, which is only 7% of how we communicate. 7%. And then the tone of our voice. If I spoke to you in this tone of voice for this whole live video link, would you be very happy? Would you stay tuned in? Or do you think that this is a bit boring? Yes, the tone of our voice needs to be expressionate and express the words we want the others to hear. So that is 38%. And then our body language. So my hands that keep moving around, my facial expressions, my looks, and we're very expressionate with our looks and how we look at things and how we turn our glances, etc. That's the huge one. That is 55% of how we express ourselves. Yes, tone of voice, thank you Sam, is so important, but our expressions are really important as well. And how we communicate, our body language is really important. So we know this is the evidence or the theory behind it, but how do we get these messages across to each people in our family at the moment? Are we calling to them from another room? So we're cooking and we're shouting at one of the kids, come here? Or are we telling them many things together? Do this, this and this, and they get confused and they don't hear anything, they switch off? Or are we doing what the Prophet ﷺ told us to do? We know when the Prophet ﷺ spoke to somebody, he'd come down to their level, he would look into their eyes, so they knew he was talking to them directly. When he was smiling, you could see his whole back teeth, so this is how he smiled, mashallah, really smiled. And we know there's hadiths there that people he communicated with felt so elated, felt so important from the messages he was giving, that they felt that they were superior, that they were one of the closest companions to him, because the attention he used to give. This is spoken in a manner that I feel I was the best. This is some of the hadiths we have there. So the Prophet ﷺ was so perfect in doing this, and this is what we need to do. When we're communicating with others in our household, whether it's our spouses, our children, or whoever else is in our household, we need to go to them and talk to them directly. And if it is our children, we need to actually come down to their level and bend down and look into their faces. Maybe put a hand on the shoulder so you get their attention, use their names so you're getting their attention as well, and then speak to them what you want them to hear in a clear message, clear, concise message. Get them to repeat back some of the key words, and if it is an instruction, just make it short and sweet, the instruction, and get them to come back and tell you when they have done that instruction, so that they know what to do, so they know there's a time limit on this, so that everybody understands that message and it is clear to everybody involved. And this is how we need to communicate. Now, if we're working from home, and it's a little bit different, the theory changes a bit if we're working from home. We need to be mindful of that. So we're not face to face, or we're not watching that body language unless we're on a video call or Zoom. But even then, there's a few seconds delay, and it's not very easy to pick up the body language. You need to be very tuned in and expert, I would say, in this. So what you do when you're working from home is you change the percentages. So if I tell you the percentages change, any guesses on what they change in? So the words we use and the tone of voice, any idea how they change? What percentages change? Which goes up or down? Well, actually both go up, but what way do you think they're going up? Nobody coming back to me yet. Okay, so I'll let you know. The words we use over the phone when we're trying to talk to people, or when we're having those conversations with people, and I would say online as well, because sometimes the video link and they freeze online, so it's very difficult to read body language. the words we use is 12%, and the tone of voice is 88%. Yes, words are higher. Well done, Mona. Words are higher. They go from 7% to 12%, and the tone is 88%. So we need to be more mindful of the tone we use. Now, we're all feeling a little bit stressed, and we all probably are maybe a little bit picking up on things a bit harsh than we'd normally be, which maybe is due to lack of sleep or not eating well or not getting enough fresh air like today. So we need to be more mindful of this, more mindful of the tone we're using, more mindful of using the expressions and the tone to the words we're using. So when you see my face when I'm using tones, I'm smiling. You want people to be able to hear that smile in your voice. To hear that smile in your voice so that they know that you're connecting to them. So it's important that you make that change and be mindful of how we say things so that we're building connections all the time. I hope that's helpful to you. Oh, I've got about 3 minutes left, so alhamdulillah, that's really good. In remembering and what we're doing and communicating, that we are thinking about what we need to say, getting across the correct message, doing the things that we're supposed to be doing, having the eye contact if it's face to face, coming down to the same level of the person, showing you care about them by looking at the same thing. So if it is a document, for example, that you're both looking at it together, if it's over a Zoom call that you're both connecting with the same thing, if it is one of your children that come to you with a picture, that you actually interact and look at the picture and talk to them about the picture. Ask questions is really important, so don't make guesses, because I've often had this with my own children, and I would say, oh, that is a lovely cat you've drawn, and they say, no, it's not a cat, it's a dog. So don't make that mistake. Ask them, what is it they've done? Ask follow-up questions. Ask leading questions. Find out more. Why did they do this picture, or why did they do this drawing in this way? So you're getting to know them more, getting to understand them, getting to pick up their personalities as well. Comment, give them praise on what they're doing, give them encouragement, give them a high five, give them a smile, give them the acknowledgement. When they come back and tell you they've done things, recognize that, thank them. Let us be more thankful to the people around us. Let us remember that. That's part of our faith, to be more thankful, to appreciate what others are doing and be more thankful for that. Let us spend the next few days working on that and being more thankful until I come back and do the next live Facebook session with you on Thursday, so that we're looking at this, and we'll go into thankfulness more on Thursday, talking about thankfulness and the different types of thankfulness. But see how you can pick up on that over these next few days. How do you communicate? How can you smile more? How can you be more gentle? How can you have much more of a loving environment in our houses? And all of this will help us in our own mental health and in our children's mental health and our family's mental health, because there will be less anxieties there. Because often those anxieties come about through lack of concentration on ourselves, lack of knowledge or intentions of how we get that message across. We really don't mean it, but we're trying to do 10 things at once. We're keeping all those balls up in the air, and we're flying around between messages, WhatsApp messages, email messages, Zoom meetings, and you could have headaches from all of these things going. So take breaks, look after yourself, and be mindful of what you say, how you say it, how you communicate, and have those smiles on your faces, and be thankful that we are here, able to have a wonderful time together, inshallah, and meet up, even if it is over Facebook or over Zoom, that alhamdulillah we are all together, that we are alive, we are well, we are healthy, and remember that and keep us all in our dua, inshallah. I hope this has been useful for you today to connect up. We're doing lots of things.